Hi. I used to listen to a radio program, and when the pastor came on that little short program of his, he would say, "Hello, this is Pastor Guido coming to you from Meta, Georgia, with thoughts for today for the garden of your heart." So I am copying him today and coming to you to talk to you about the garden of your heart. The scripture tells us to watch over our heart with all diligence, for out of it come the issues of the life. And certainly this is true when we consider the thoughts and the reasonings and the imaginations that we have. I used to keep a vegetable garden when my family was young and growing up, and I learned a great deal in the process of doing so I would like to liken that to our heart. The ground has to be properly prepared for a garden to grow, and so that takes weeding and plowing and cleaning out rocks and sticks and grass, and it takes some plowing to do it. I used to have a farmer come by about every 5 years and bring an 18-inch plow, and he would go down that garden and dig up ground that had been buried down under that 18 inches for years, and it would bring fresh nutrients up to the topsoil. And I thought to myself, there are things that happen to us in life that are like that 18-inch plow. Things that happen that just break our hearts and tear our lives up and just cause us to have a change in our lives, whether we wanted it or not, because life does happen to us. And nobody escapes that 18-inch plow in the heart. But how we handle it is going to be very important to us. If we can see that some good can come out of everything, and we use that for good, then that 18-inch plow will have been a good thing for our lives. Next, in my gardening, once the soil was finally tilled on top, then I chose the seeds that I would put in my garden, and each one had to be planted at a different depth. Now, bean seeds, for instance, are only maybe an inch or two below the surface. But when you cut up potatoes to plant, they have to be planted deeply into a tall hill of dirt so that they can grow properly. But then there's the issue of all the weeds that come up in a garden. They look like the real plant. I was amazed by that, how much deception can come into our lives, and it looks so much like the truth, but it really isn't. The seeds that we need to plant in our lives need to be seeds of truth. But I want to remind us that when we hear the truth, it oftentimes upsets us or makes us angry, because we really don't want to hear the truth, because truth brings responsibility to us. Once you hear truth, then you have the responsibility of what you're going to do with it. But if you will accept truth and make the changes necessary, then you will weed out wrong thinking out of your heart and out of your life. We have to have fertilizer in our life. Where do you spend your time? Do you read good books? Do you only watch TV? Is Facebook all you do with your life? What are we doing with our hearts? Watch over them, because the choices, the decisions that you make in your life are coming out of what you believe in your heart. So let's fertilize our heart seeds with good things. Another thing I learned about the gardening is that some plants just don't like other plants. You know, you can't like everybody. You can love them, but you can't always like them. And how many friends do you have or acquaintances? And have you stretched yourself too thin as a companion? I know that in my garden I could not plant asparagus beside potatoes. They would not grow and develop into a healthy plant when I did. So I had to move my asparagus bed to another location, and then it thrived. There is such a thing as companion planting in a garden. But what about the companions that we have in our lives? Maybe we're the problem. Maybe we need to learn what it means to be a good friend. Maybe we shouldn't have too many people that we try to relate to because we can't spread ourselves but so thin. Think about it. How are you caring for the garden of your heart? The garden is planted so that a harvest can come. And what comes out of our mouths and our behaviors reveal the seeds that have been planted in the garden of our heart. I hope that these thoughts for the garden of your heart today will be a help to you as they are to me. Just remember, good things planted in the garden of your heart will produce a wonderful harvest in your life. I'm working on this, and I hope you will too.